distance, intimacy, and then communicate. And then we also have caution and pregnancy. There's someone you're connected with that maybe you are at a bit of a distance from, or it says you and your partner may be physically or emotionally distant. It could have been a while since you have, with intimacy, it says sexual chemistry reminiscing, and then communicate, compromise, forgive, and work it out. There's something about the distance or how long it's been since you maybe have had some form of intimacy or intimate communication. This is maybe something you've been recently thinking about, or you could wonder like why it's been so long since this person has approached you in a certain type of way, or since you could be reminiscing on this. We also have caution and then pregnancy. Find out more information. Don't overwork yourself. Someone is expecting. And then no, it's not the right time. So, and then earth sign, and then yes, and water sign cycles. The way this is coming out is really interesting. It's like caution, pregnancy, not with an earth sign, with a water sign. And then cycles. This is going to be an interesting reading. There's a few things that come to my head with this. I'm getting the vibe that somebody could have put some distance in your guys' situation or was cautious about communicating to you in an intimate way or being intimate with you, and maybe they didn't communicate this with you, and you could have felt this time or for like this period of time that like you could have been like, what is the deal? Like, I don't understand what's going on, or why this person, like why we've had such like distance in this regard. So with compromise, forgive, and work it out, I feel like this person's wanting to like close the gap here in this way, but caution and pregnancy, it's almost like this person could have feared you being pregnant. So that's maybe something that they thought was going on, or they're scared of like getting you pregnant. There's something about pregnancy, or you could have been pregnant with this person like this, and this is something where you guys decided like not to. This could have been something where it feels like you might feel like you don't know if you're attracted to this person anymore because of the distance between the truth. 50. You cannot be truthful with another person unless you are first truthful and honest with yourself. The truth is not afraid of question. The Maya, 11. November, or last November, could be significant. Allow past mistakes to help you see through all illusions so you can understand and act upon what you know is real and what you know is false. So somebody doesn't trust something. And then caution, find out more information, don't overwork yourself, and then somebody is expecting. Somebody does not know what to believe, because it could have been that you questioned somebody about this, or somebody told you this, or they communicated with you. There could be long distance with someone, and somebody communicated with you after you guys had like some form of intimacy, and maybe they caution in pregnancy. It could be like they're like, I don't know, I might be pregnant kind of thing. With truth and Maya, I feel like whoever this is, I am almost feeling like this could be your divine masculine. This could be that they were in communication with someone and you were at a distance with them. So this could have been a period of time where you guys were not speaking, and they did have relations with someone here who they maybe thought that they got themselves into this position with. And with the truth and then the Maya, and then the drama queen just came out. It says some people need a high level of attention to validate their sense of worth. Make sure that you are not that person staging needless plays. This person could have like faked this or lied about potentially being pregnant. They may, I don't think this is something that you know about. The dreamer. Like they could be involved with this, like someone that they had a connection with that pretended to be pregnant. The Sybil, 5 May. Think twice before sharing what you know with anyone except those you know without question or ready to hear it. This is looking like a situation where this is kind of some tea. Somebody, I don't think you know about this. Somebody was like, they could have, your situation with them might have felt like it was on pause for a while, especially with the free spirit. You're like, all right, well, I'm not involved with this person right now, I guess. They're preoccupied with something. And you could have felt like there was a lot of distance between you and this person. I feel like during this distance, there's a situation here where, one, they couldn't be real with you. They couldn't give you all the tea on what was going on in their life. And with this Maya card, it says like, allow past mistakes to help you see through illusions so you can understand and act on what you know is real and what you know is false. I think that you knew not to like blame this on you or this person's perception of you. You maybe just thought like, you know what, I'm not going to force words out of this person. But you knew you were picking up on something, or you knew they weren't being honest about something. The drama queen and then the Sybil, I think this person, it's coming off like they might have been involved with someone that is a huge drama queen, or this person needs, like this card says, a high level of attention to validate their sense of worth. And they staged they staged something here. The Sybil, think twice before sharing what you know with anyone except those you know without question or ready to hear it. This person did not tell you about it. I think this person was kind of trying not to freak out about their situation because they were still trying to figure out like if they were fucked, like if they were about to get locked into something that like, I think this person with distance, I'm almost seeing it as like, this could have been around May. Or this could have happened with them in November and they were kind of waiting to see like what the deal was. I think you felt the distance, but I also think part of this distance was to like, they wanted to make sure they could figure this situation out before they didn't want to be actively involved like in deep in your situation with you, communicating intimately with you until they figured out what the deal was here with this person that they were connected with. The Dancer. They maybe, I don't know if you're gonna hear about this. 8 August, The Dancer, you must feel free to express yourself. That seems weird. Slow it down. Yeah, they slowed down their situation with you because they were dealing with something with someone else here. And they did not tell you about this. But I think this person, they know that whoever they're dealing with is a bit of a drama queen. So I think that but the thing is, the situation, the way that it went down, they knew it actually could have been a realistic probability that maybe this person was pregnant. And so they were like, all right, well, this person is probably lying, but you know, eventually we'll find out if that's the case or not. And so this person, this is reminding, it's like they know that this person's a drama queen and that they do this stuff because they want attention from this person. And so I feel like this person is probably now having to have some boundaries with this other person, but we have to slow it down and then process your feelings. I think this through this person. Knowledge. This might be something you know about. Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. Their knowledge and divine orchestration. I'm seeing that as like everything happens for a reason. There's a reason for whatever this was. The timing of it made sense. I don't really think you even know about this. Could be also that this person knows that this person has done this before in the past with them. And so especially with knowledge. So I'm kind of imagining a situation that the person was involved with where this other person has no remorse for doing something like this. It's like, as long as they had this person, they could have really been dramatic about this, because slow it down, process your feelings. This person could have consoled this person and been like, all right. And then knowledge. I'm seeing divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms, as there's something about this that is helping them, especially with this being council of light. There is something here that they now are aware of about their situation with that person, that I think they're like, yeah, I know now that I'm going to have to act a certain way with this person. So they're trying to, like, it could be that they're trying to, like, I don't know if subdue is the right term, but it's like they're trying to keep, they might feel like they have to, like, keep this person, like, satisfied to a certain extent, or else they know that they'll, like, go ham. So this person could be kind of delulu that they're involved with. This person could be kind of like, they could be, allow past mistakes to help you see through all illusions so you can understand what is real and what is false. Think twice before you share what you know. And then the truth cannot be, you cannot be truthful with another person unless you're first truthful and honest with yourself. That's like denial, delusions. I think when this person tries to create some distance with this other person, they do this drama queen stuff. And I think they also know, like, there's only a certain level, like, that they could share with you about their interactions or relationship with this other person. Because there's something about, like, with caution and distance, I'm seeing it as, like, almost this energy of, like, they kind of at some point or extent had to, like, keep you away from this person, or make sure that there was no way that you were gonna have interactions with this person, or the other way around. They could have been like, I don't want you to know about this other person, because this other person, I know how they are. Which is, it's giving, like, somebody feels like they have to control their girl, because their girl is out of, like, just does things that like fuck people's lives up, or they'll just, like, I don't know. 24, the healer, this person, 2024. So we have May and November of 2024 could have been significant months for this. We also have 7 and 26. The empath, learn to protect your sensitivities and create boundaries, or cultivate boundaries, to create a safe space in which you and your desire to be of service can thrive. I kind of feel like this person was a bit of a people pleaser, especially when it came to, like, this person's that you're involved with, they're a feeler. So, and they are considerate of, like, this seems like the type of, I want to say man or woman, like this masculine energy. There's something about, like, it's not giving, like, male savior complex kind of, it's giving this energy of, like, a man who, like, knows that, like, when a woman is in, like, distress, or when she is feeling, like, upset about something, this person wants to, like, tend to them. They want to help them, like, they want to comfort them, be there for them. And I think this person they're involved with knows that about this person, and so I think they use that to their advantage a little bit. And I think there's something about, maybe this person didn't know that that's what they used to do, but they caught on to this eventually, and now they're like, okay. They're still involved with this person, most likely, or they were maybe until recently. The healer says, you and possibly someone you care about need to be healed from the effects of past traumas before things can be resolved to your liking. I think this person, they knew that they had to work some shit out with this other person. So I want to say your situation, I'm going to check in on, like, what that looks like right now, because I'm getting the vibe that you have a type of, like, intimacy or a type of, like, soul connection with this person that maybe this other person they were involved with thought that they had. It could also be that this other person could know about your guys, or your situation with them. And so it could be, like, especially with knowledge, I think I'm gonna pull more cards, but I don't like the vibes here. I don't like to do karmic readings, but loneliness, adversity, and perseverance. I think we had 7, so July, May, November, and then 2024. I think this person went through a period of loneliness where maybe they did try to create distance with this person, or they were at a distance with this person. I think that this person, I know that I am never alone. I think that the loneliness they were facing was not really something that they could push through adversity and perseverance. It was a really big challenge for them. So I think this person maybe went back to this other person. This could have been their ex, but they went back to some situation where they wouldn't have to feel lonely. But now they're like wrapped up in all this shit, or this is something that went down. Maybe I'm being kind of like, maybe I'm not giving full weight to like the actual like connection this person had with this other person. But I think that they're at this, I'm sure this connection meant something to them at some point, but I don't think this is something where they have anywhere near like a level of soul bond that they thought that they used to have with this other person. I want to know more about how this person's happiness. This person might be taking a good look at like, does that connection or situation make them happy anymore? And then we have blame. It says, I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. And then blame, I accept responsibility for my well-being. And then empathy, I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. Forgiveness, I know that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Happiness, blame, and then forgiveness. I feel like this is a situation where you're pretty, like your energy, you're like, if you knew that this person was involved with another person like this, you might have been like, it's not my business. You know, I'm going to be over here living my life, do my own thing. And then I think happiness, blame, and forgiveness. I want friendship. Acceptance, forgiveness and acceptance, and then happiness and blame. I am learning to accept things I cannot change. That's what I thought. I think that you're like, no, you're like, not my circus, not my fucking monkey in this situation. I have no beef, love. It's all love here. I commit to the practice of seeing good in all things. I think this person, I just keep thinking of like a tidal wave with this. Like this person, it's like this person just felt like, holy shit, I'm going to have to really navigate this situation. And then I think that they really like, there's something about this that like, it really put their situation with you into perspective. And I think they blamed you for a lot. And I think that it helped them realize like, that was my happiness. Forgiveness and acceptance, and then love. And what's interesting too is I think this person knows that like, even if this was the case, you maybe would forgive them because you know that them coming in with like this like energy of like you can see that they'd not be in their ego or trying to save their ass. There's something about like, if they like full disclosure, like I think you would be like, all right, yeah, no. Like I feel like you would have some kind of sympathy or empathy for the fact that like this person was dealing with this kind of situation. I don't think this is a collective here. Like I'm going to say right now, I don't think this is a collective who'd be like, yeah, well, this person deserves that. I think you'd be like, that fucking sucks that they're dealing with this kind of situation, because there are certain people in your life sometimes like you have to move strategically. You can't just like, especially if like this person that they were dealing with had a hard time taking accountability and accepting their own feelings and stuff like that in situations where like they have a hard time accepting and forgiving. Like this person that they were involved with, I think showed them what not having accountability for your own emotional storms within looks like, and how it looks to blame someone else for their own feelings and seeing happiness as feelings. And so they may have reflected on like, I used to be like this with my person, with you, right? And they're like, God, now that I understand this and accept this, like I forgive like everything that I thought that this other person, that you were doing to put them in that position, because I think this person, I'm getting the vibe this person might have projected onto you that you were like blaming them for your happiness, and you were like this damsel in distress vibe, but now they're in this situation, or they were in this situation with this other person where they're like, I would had this shit wrong. I think this person gained more of an appreciation for their bond with you in dealing with this situation, especially with this divine orchestration card. That's your divine justice, is for you to just be understood, even though you don't know this is the case. I don't think you know this person dealt with any of this stuff, and I also feel like you don't know that this person now has this newfound understanding for who you are, who you were to them, what you brought to them, the peacefulness, the love, the way that you love, and the love that they felt for you, because I don't think this person fully accepted this, especially with acceptance and forgiveness. I think this person, if anything, they didn't want forgiveness for not accepting you, because they didn't understand you at a certain point, and now they do. I think you're not being seen problematic at all. Like, I don't think you're being seen as problematic, like, whatsoever compared to this other situation. This is like, I think this other person, they felt responsible for catering to this person's emotion. It's like they were upset if they were starting to like throw a fit. It's like, okay, I just kind of have, like, I gotta deal with this. I gotta show up. I gotta kind of do whatever this person wants me to do. Because if this person knew about you, they might have been like, well, they're going to cause a scene with you. So I kind of have to keep them at a distance from that situation. Because there is like a little bit of this energy of maybe they're protective of their situation with you. And they're like, I gotta deal with this. I'm locked into this. I'm kind of stuck in this. This is a karmic situation for sure. Especially given what they've learned about this so far. I think this person knew at a certain point, and May could have been a significant month for this. They maybe knew that, like, they had, with knowledge and slow it down. It's like some things clicked where I think this person knew that they had to start slowing down. It's like their way of creating a boundary in the situation, like that other card was to show sympathy to this other person, but I think that they distanced themselves, like, emotionally, and I think this other person was kind of grasping for like things to Alright, well, I want to know about you, because I can already kind of feel this collective energy, even though none of these cards are really about you. These cards are all about this other person so far. I think for you, you have caution, find out more information, because I think that this is kind of something where you might be guided to, you might be feeling intuitively, like, I'm going to keep this at a distance. This also could have been something that happened in 2024, like a year ago. This might be something where you just picked up on some weird vibes or some emotional distance from this person. You could have also been communicating, like, you could have been communicating with them pretty, like, intimately, and this could have been something where you're like, I don't know, I'm just picking up on this energy where this person, like, something feels off. And so you might have felt like, with this caution, you might have felt like there was some red flags here where you're like, I don't know, I kind of feel like there's something going on. There's a reason that this person and I haven't. There's a reason that there's distance here. There's a reason that there's emotional distance, or that this person is, like, not coming through or wanting to create. Which is kind of like, it means that part of this person knew that like, they didn't want you to be affected by whatever this was. This person maybe also knows that, like, they were in the middle of some karma and some shit, and I think this person did not want to come over and, like, taint your waters. They could have been that they also knew you were having a hard time with something around this time. So let's take a look through. I want to know how you feel. I also kind of want to pull some tarot cards, but like, what are you going through? What is your energy right now is what I want to know. The Warrior is 25. 2025. So now we're talking about right now. You have the ability to conquer your fears and faults and the right to defend who you are, who you love, and what you believe in. You might have just recently felt, you might be starting to feel empowered here. Especially with the wounded. Be gentle with yourself and others. We all have been wounded in some way, and a wound will always cry out to be healed. I feel like you'd have sympathy for this person. I think you also are like fiercely defending in your life, like what is meaningful to you. Because you could have been the escapist. 52. You or someone you care about may seek refuge in escapist behaviors when faced with limits, difficulties, or sorrow of some sort. I think you in the last year have been trying to overcome maybe some of your own escapist tendencies. And that could be like you were trying not to smoke weed anymore, or you're trying not to numb yourself, right? You're trying to feel through your stuff. And I think there's something here about, it could be that you when I see escapist and it talks about like difficulties or sorrow, you could have really gone through like a massive healing period in the last year that was like you were in the trenches for a bit. I think you have a completely different outlook on life than you did a year ago. The higher self. The dawn. Do not be discouraged. Things look dark and hopeless. The sun rises each day, revealing renewed possibility and renewed hope. I think that's the energy. I think for the last year, or maybe last summer when if this is when this was going down, or for the last couple of months, you might have been kind of conquering some huge hurdles here for you when it comes to you feeling like you're in the trench, but not staying like face down in the dirt. I think that you had to learn how to like actually like listen to your higher self to guide you through this like dark night of the soul maybe for the last year you've been going through. And I also feel like you do have a different outlook, but I think it's because you conquered some stuff. You had that perseverance and adversity card. You stayed 10 toes down in this. I want to say that like you conquered something in your life. Like you earned your energy here of confidence or of empowerment here, because I think you realized like, yeah, you used to do certain things, like you used to not be able to feel into the level of emotion that maybe you're feeling right now, or that you allow yourself to actually like witness for yourself, right? Like you hold space for yourself now in a way that I don't think you, one, knew how to do, because two, I don't think you were actually feeling things really intensely or really deeply, or you would try not to. And this is also reminding me of somebody who struggles with like intense depression or anxiety. You could have had really low lows, and you kind of just had to like just tell yourself this is temporary, right? And like you could have gone through a period like that. The free spirit, that's what I was saying at the beginning when I saw this come out. I'm like, I feel like this is you, and you're just like, okay. 29, it could be 29. You also have 29 and 52 here. You can only change yourself. Now is the time to unleash your free spirit, not try to blend in and be the same as everyone else. It's reminding me of like, you got a new lease on life. I kind of feel like you went through this stage where maybe you were desensitizing yourself to like the world or to your emotions. And I think that when you started allowing yourself to feel into it, I think you really had to condition yourself again to let yourself be okay with feelings. And I think now that you do, it's like your experiences are new experiences. Like you look at things with a different set of eyes. And so you walked yourself through that. The Lover. So this is where you're at. One more of these, and then I want to know where you're at with this connection. 21. 2021 could have been like when your journey started, or when you went through like an awakening, or you knew things had to change. Or 2021 could have been when you started communicating with this person. The Inventor. This is a good time to amplify your focus and to clear and purify your space in your world and in your mind to make way for something new. The Free Spirit, and then the Inventor. I think that you're in this energy right now, most likely of like clear out the energy of the past. Like you're like, I am stepping through the threshold here. I am not taking any of this old stuff with me because I don't have to anymore. I'm not chained to like who I used to be, how I used to live, the things I used to struggle with. You're like, I remember it, but I'm no longer the mask. I'm no longer masking it. And then we also have 37 here. Neither you nor anyone involved in your situation has a clear picture of what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. I think you, especially with Free Spirit, you learned how to like let go of control and how to just like let go and let God. This is the year of like Jesus take the wheel, most likely, especially for this other person, the person you're involved with. I think there's something here about like you could have really like, I'm seeing it as like untethered yourself from something, or you you felt stuck or you felt tied to something. Whether it's like you it's something very specific. It could be that you had to live with a certain family member for so long, or you didn't have the funds in your life to like set yourself free from a certain situation or predicament. There's something about like you're either getting ready to be able to, or you've learned how to not try to like mentally or emotionally escape whatever this situation was. But I still think part of you doesn't fully know exactly like what's happening next in your life. I think that right now you're in this place where you're like manifesting what you're wanting in terms of like the energy you're trying to be in. And I think that you're gonna see how the divine just does this for you. I think you're trying to just lean into feeling things and letting go of that energy of like that masculine energy of like having control and trying to create this structure for yourself. I think it's been a whole year of you just like healing yourself and feeling into yourself emotionally. So I also think that would make sense because that I was saying some stuff about like you would maybe be able to have sympathy for this person and emotionally the process that they've been going through and dealing with whatever the hell this thing is outside of your guys' connection. I want to know what your connection has been like with this person over the last like year or over the last since, let's say since November, right? It's like 9 months ago. Because I think that since November is when they've been dealing with this other wish fulfillment. Mm-hmm. You see this person as your wish fulfillment. Escaping, avoiding, blocking, pushing away. Wish fulfillment and then escaping. Like I wish to escape, basically. Beauty. Charming, graceful, kind-hearted. Divine feminine. Yin feminine energy. These are really nice, except for escaping, avoiding, blocking, pushing away. Vanity, ego, and pride. Earth. Ace, Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Fire, and then alchemy. I'm seeing ego, vanity, pride, ace, earth as like you got really grounded this year, but I also feel like I'm getting this energy of feeling humbled or feeling like this person, it's like, yeah, I think that this connection looked very similar in terms of like you might have felt like, yeah, this person in this situation, that's my wish fulfillment. But I feel like you might have been a little bit avoidant, or you might have felt like you could feel the vibes that this person was not being fully truthful or authentic or whatever we were talking about in their cards in part 1. And so escaping, avoiding, blocking, pushing away, I feel like there's something about the energy you were been trying to be in that you're like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be super like, I think that you kind of tried to push this situation with this person away a little bit because I think you worked so hard maybe to get yourself to a place where emotionally, where you were wanting to, where you were hoping to. Beauty, charming, graceful, kind-hearted, divine feminine, feminine energy. And then we have facade. I think this situation with this person in the last few months has made you take a look at, like a real look at yourself here. In terms of like, you could see this person masking, or you could see how this person was acting. And I think you might have said like, am I masking to show up to this situation because I don't feel fully comfortable with it? I feel like part of you had to, with this beauty card and the butterfly I'm seeing, is like you might have felt like you had to release the situation because you could tell that like if this person was going to communicate with you, you weren't getting authenticity. You weren't getting like grounded. You weren't getting the version of them that felt like it was like rooted in reality of the situation. And so I think that you kind of I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm like self-love, intentions, integration, and union. It's like there's you and how you see this connection. And then there's how you felt like maybe you had to keep yourself a little bit distance here from this connection as well. But I still think that you yearn for it, right? Like intentions, integration, and union. I think you fully were, you were like, you had intentions here. Like you're like, I want integration. I want union with this person, especially divine feminine. You see yourself as the divine feminine in this connection with this person. Beauty and then divine feminine, you could have been focusing more on like self-care, right? Or like loving yourself or trying to pour into yourself in that way. Ego, vanity, pride, facade beliefs. I'm almost saying it as like part of this was like, okay, I can tell where this person is not ready to just be straight up or be real with me, to be like rooted in reality here and like come to me grounded. And until then, I am just gonna kind of like alchemize and then fire. I'm saying it as like you probably alchemized some frustration about that in the situation. And I think that you had to, I think you poured into you while this was happening. Conflict, yeah, clashing differences, incompatibility, and then free spirit. I'm saying that as like you're like yeah, and then releasing. I literally was just gonna say I'm releasing. Intuition, inner knowing, telepathy, heart song. But you know what I'm seeing this as? I'm seeing it as like, you know, this person was so like caught up in whatever they were dealing with here that you're like intuitively, I want to say you could pick up on this. You could have also picked up on this person having conflict with someone outside of you in their life. And I feel like you're like, okay, I gotta keep myself from distance, but also I know this person's creating distance with me and I'm not gonna question that. I'm not gonna question it to them, right? I also feel like this intuition, integration, and then divine feminine, I'm seeing it as like you were connecting with, or maybe you felt like, you know what, I'm connecting maybe with this person and their higher self, like intuitively, especially this telepathy card. But you're like, when it comes to their actual 3D, grounded, rooted in reality earth self, like I'm not gonna, this is not compatible right now. We're living two completely different lives. I kind of have to release this. And so I think you're detached. I think you're emotionally detached in a really healthy way. And that doesn't mean you're, detaching doesn't mean that like you don't love this person, you no longer feel feelings for them and you're not attached to your feelings, or you're completely detached from your own feelings. No, detachment just means you got yourself to a place where you can feel your feelings and acknowledge them and not mask them, to where you understand you're not holding on and clinging because you want this situation, you have love, but you don't need it to feel complete, right? And so you're able to release whatever the outcome is here and this situation with this person. It does not mean that you are not still like holding on to what you were kind of wanting with this person. I think you had like, you're like, when you think of this connection, what you're hoping for, what you're wanting to create here in the situation, hoping, expecting, faith, manifesting, is for union. But I also think that you might be someone who fully bluff, mask, pretending, exaggerating. I think you're like, look, I fully believe in the idea of coming into union with this person. You're like, I also understand that I have to get myself to a place where I feel whole within before that would even maybe be an option. And because you felt like you were still working on that, it's like you fully knew that this was something where there would be clashing, there'd be differences, there'd be ego, there'd be masking, it's like you guys may also have conflicting beliefs, right? That sort of was like, if you fully believe in this journey and how this works, and this person was kind of only operating with you at this point, like it was like intimacy and like your communication was just it was just sexual. It was just based off the chemistry. Like none of your communications had depth, or none of them were like anything but this masked energy because of everything, all the elements at play here. I think that you're like, no, we are not compatible right now in terms of like the type of relationship that you are trying to manifest for yourself. So bluff, pretending, mask, exaggeration. Hoping. That's kind of interesting. I'm seeing this as like, if this person knew that, I think part of this person, I'm seeing that as like, you maybe knew that this person wasn't fully gonna believe the fact that you were so focused on you. And the fact that you were like, yeah, dark night, because, and then stability and then disharmony. Because that's what I was saying when these cards came out earlier, these big ones. I was saying this person had to come to some kind of realization that you were not really making them feel responsible for your emotions, but they were kind of projecting that onto you. Maybe when you would like, when back in the day, like a year ago, when you would tell them how you felt or tell them you were upset about the distance in this connection, or like you wanted to communicate with them, I think this person maybe thought they were going to get themselves in a situation with you that's a lot like the one that they're in right now, where they do feel like they literally have to, or were trapped in having to like fix this other person's emotions or satisfy them or make them happy in any way. And so I think that when you used to talk about your feelings, this person maybe thought like, it's like nowadays when you're vibing, or if you did try to talk to this person about your feelings, it's like this person maybe, or if you did claim like you're doing good, like you're doing you, this person maybe thought that you were bluffing, that you were just hiding it, and that you were like you were really in the trenches and you were longing for this person. That could have been the case, but I also feel like this person didn't, you maybe knew that this person didn't think that you were doing as well as you were doing, or you were staying 10 toes down. I think you maybe had this energy of like, this person probably thinks I'm sitting here waiting for them. And like, whether you were at a time or not, I think you know that this person doesn't have trust emotionally, or you guys were lacking some of that depth, because you could tell this person they had these issues that they were never going to trust you. And so there's this vibe of like, I can't change that. I can't make this person trust me. I can't force them to show up here. And you could tell every single time they would communicate with you, you got facade, mask, ego, vanity, pride. I think all you could, and then dark night of the soul. I think the only time that, yeah, and then open heart. I think, and then reunion. And then hopefully, I think you knew that this person, the only time that you would get like the real open heart, vulnerable, expressive version of them, the only time you could truly feel them, right? Like their higher self, or them connected with themselves, and not the like masked, like lacking trust, like scared version of them, was when they were going through a dark night of the soul. And I think you did occasionally have interactions with them. And I think that you knew what they were going through, because again, intuition, I feel like you can feel this connection. You can tell this is with soul ties here, intuition, union, divine feminine, alchemy. Like you guys are connected, but I think you saw this as like, you have a full acceptance that this was not going to be the connection that you would hope for it to be or want it to be. I want to say for like the last year, at least not the last 9 months, because you knew this person was about to go through their whole, like, you know that they were about to have a whole something. You could feel it. Also, reunion, ego, vanity, pride. This is making me think that you might feel like the person that if you know that they're connected with another person, but you don't know half the shit that was going on here, you just knew that they were connected with another person. You may have felt like this person thought that this other person, they had a soul tie with them, and that this was who they wanted to be with. I think you felt like that. Whether this person actually felt like that with this person, I don't know. They may have believed that that was the case. I think you saw it as like, all right, I'll let their ego think that until they go through their own dark night of the soul, until they start having the conflict. But I don't know. I don't actually know if you know very much about this other situation, other than like the fact that you maybe knew why this person was initially connected with them. You could have also thought that they had intentions here for union with this other person. Multiple cards here about union. Meanwhile, you wanted that, but you're like, that's not even realistic with this situation or this person or the version of them that's showing up. Autumn, harvest. There's two cards here about earth and about fall. You guys could have reconnected like last fall. I'm like, I could get all into this situation with this other person, and I'm pulling cards for you. This person may know about you. And this person, that's part of the reason why it's kind of weird. It's like mirror, mirror on the wall. It's like she's just plotting. Beginnings, action, courage, Jupiter. I think this person, if they know about you, they might be competitive when it comes to you. They might secretly compete with you. And I don't even think you know this person. I don't think you've ever met this person. I don't think you've ever talked to this person. I just think you know this person's connected with someone. Decisions, actions, beginning, and decisions. I'm seeing that as like, somebody's got to make a U-turn here if they want to like have a new beginning with you. Memories, reminiscing, dwelling, bittersweet. I do think that you reminisce on the times when you did have an actual connection with this person that had depth. But I feel like you might feel like, yeah, one day, unclear, running, ghosting, loyalty, thinking, missing you, craving you, desiring, exhaustion and longing and separation. You're like, I'm exhausted of like belonging. I'm okay with separation. Stability, harmony, and flow. You have been focused on you. So you still view this person as like your person. I want to know how this person feels about you, because I've done a lot here about what was going on with this other person. I want to know how they feel about you, how they view you. Because how you view the situation is you're their divine feminine. You know that this person was dealing with some stuff. The first card, you view them as your wish fulfillment. I think you also were focused on getting into your divine feminine energy, or getting into your own flow, getting yourself to a place of harmony in your own life. And I also feel like this is something where you knew what you would want with this person, but you knew that you wouldn't want it with the version of this person that they were showing up with. So I want to know how this person feels about you. Also, I will say, I'm looking at this communication and intimacy and then distance. I think that you guys had the type of bond where even if this person was masking, like even if you knew that this person was not going to open up to you and you kind of just accepted that you got the surface version of them for a while, it's like you could tell that even if you guys did have like, sensual communication, it's like some of the stuff, like the fire, the spark, like some of the things you guys would say, it's like that part of them is still there. But I don't think you were trying to get the whole everything of this person. But I think you're like, yeah, no, I know this person. They're nice. I know they still got it. But I think that it's like that's something that you probably know. It's like that doesn't fade, or you don't feel like it fades. You feel like that connection. You're like that chemistry. That fire will burn forever. But it probably affected you being able to actually connect with it or feel in touch with that, but this person that you're connected with, they are a feeler. They feel things really deeply. They're probably like this person's probably really passionate. I'm like want to blush. I'm like, some of the things this person has said in the past might have blown your socks off. Okay, I'm gonna pull cards to see like how they're viewing you. I'm not gonna lie, the first three cards that I pulled, I was like, what the fuck? Because I got trapped, right? Stuck, tied down, captive, like feeling trapped, mistakes, misunderstood, victim, lost soul. Seeing you as a victim with a lost soul, distracted, sidetracked, change, delays. They saw you, this was you and how they viewed you in the past. And then we have perspective with distance and loyalty. When they took some distance here, they got some perspective. But I also think this person, they maybe saw how you were in connection with them and how they they knew you were having a hard time. And I was saying that you were having a really hard time like a year ago. You have a completely different outlook. So I want to say this is for like the last 9 months or the last year I've been talking about. And this is checking out with what we've been talking about. This person maybe thought that you had to clear your headspace. They also maybe knew that you felt trapped or you felt like lost and misunderstood. Ruby. And then distracted. Like I was saying, you could have been distracting yourself from life, like that, like escapism, right? And I think that they saw you try to change this, or they saw you work on this, especially with perspective, clear headspace, basically. And then loyalty, trusting, reliability, believing. I think that they saw you as somebody who trusted them, but I think that they didn't trust you, like I was saying, because we also have the distance card, separation, space, blockage. I think you guys had a separation, I don't even know if you guys are separated right now. I don't really think that you are, but there was a separation here after this time where you guys got perspective, or you got perspective and you changed some things. We also have disharmony, triggers, conflict, and then we have rebirth and winter. You guys could have reconnected in the winter time. And then bluff, pretending, mask, exaggeration. I think this person, this could have been like you guys reconnected in the wintertime after like a long time of not communicating with each other or not seeing each other. There was a lot of distancy. There was a lot of distance, and then loyalty. I think this is something where you guys did, if you reconnected in the wintertime, this might have been something where there was disharmony here. And I also feel like this person saw that you were triggered, or that you were feeling triggered by them. Sorry, I had to pause because I got a sandwich delivery. Everything here is pretty much confirming everything I was saying. This person, you guys had some disharmony in the winter time. Like you guys were having a moment. But this could have been, I'm seeing rebirth as like, this could have been like when you were trying to like reestablish yourself, or you guys were trying to like the way you guys were showing up to this connection. It could have been something where it was there was disharmony or there was conflict because you were showing up as a different version of you. And like I was saying, you had been basically like living a different life than you did like 6 months before or a year before. And I also think that because of that, there was conflict, especially if you guys had a separation and there was distance, and this was something where you were showing up very differently than how you used to. I think you guys had conflict. I think you guys had disharmony. And then I think if you guys saw each other, because I'm seeing this as you two potentially being near each other, this person could have thought that you were masking, or you were bluffing, or you just weren't showing you. And I think part of it is because maybe this person didn't know this version of you. Like you could have definitely been masking. Like this could have been something where I think you were loyal to this connection. You trusted this person, or you were trying to trust the situation, or you were giving this person like the benefit of the doubt with how they were showing up. But I think that it could have been like when you saw this person, or when you were around this person, you maybe felt like you had to mask, or like you had to, I don't think you felt comfortable showing all of you, because there's this level of like, you guys were having conflict. I almost want to say it's something where maybe you just didn't feel like you were, you just weren't comfortable, like fully showing up. I think you both were masking, actually. I feel like this person thinks like part of this disharmony was because you both didn't know. It could have been like you guys didn't know how to act. And then we also have confirmation of that thing that I was saying that you felt trapped to. I think this is something this person knew about, because we also have control tactics, and then freedom, and then we have this contract, commitment, career, this, whatever this, like your karmic stuff, your karmic debt that you were owing, that you were waiting to kind of be released from, especially because we have freedom, leap, opportunities. They knew that you were going through something here that you felt controlled by, is what I want to say. But I also feel like this person, they hadn't yet fully released like this energy of them. Like I was saying, they did not trust you, right? And part of this wasn't just because of you in this connection. Part of this was because they saw that you were uncomfortable and you weren't fully showing up as you because of the conflict you guys were having, and because you were maybe uncomfortable doing that. And then I also think that, that's not manipulation. That's not control. If you're not comfortable showing up around someone, but you're still going to try, then you're not going to fully lean into that, because that's your discernment. That's your intuition telling you not to, because you don't want to get taken advantage of in some way. But I also feel like this person maybe knew that you felt controlled by some stuff going on in your life, and you could have let them know about this. But I also feel like this person, they could have thought that your situation that you were trying to get sorted out was a control tactic. Was you trying to manipulate them? Or they thought that you were masking or pretend, whatever this was. And then we have, the reason why I'm like, this is their view, is because we have alchemy, ancestors, guides, that these two same cards that you got, and then regret, transformation, repression, and then messages and dreams. I think this person, they then started to feel regretful because they saw your actual transformation, and then they understood that. I think dreams and messages, I'm sort of seeing it as like the version of you or the version of this connection that they maybe didn't really fully trust, that they thought was like a dream, or they thought that this was like fantasy world, right? Now they regret putting it off as that, because I think this person actually, like I said, gained perspective here from the distance. I think that this is, and now we have on the top the same one you got, hoping, expecting, faith, manifesting. So I want to know now how this person sees you, because this kind of set it up. That shocked me when I first pulled those cards. I was like, what? I'm like, I saw 3 cards pop out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna not record this, because this is about to be kind of wild. I'm like, this is a turn that we're about to take here. This person, they saw you as somebody who was lost, like you, and I want to say that's not something that would shock you, because you felt lost at a certain point. And I want to say this was before you guys had a separation, or this was like a year ago, right? And that's in line with what we were talking about. Thoughts and then isolating. Like you were, and then release, surrender, purge. This is how they saw you. How they saw you lines up pretty much exactly with how you knew that they were viewing you, and also what you were going through, right? Like your evolution of that. You guys do have a soul connection. That's how I'm seeing this. But I think this person, they've gone through a year of now getting perspective through what they're going through in their life and this connection they were in, to where they actually can look at you and understand you, understand your guys' situation, and understand your situation and what you've been working on. I think this person now sees your transformation in a much more rounded way. I think this person feels regretful now, this is what the journey is for. This is how it's all divinely orchestrated. This stuff has been lining up so far, but epiphany, and then we have healing, releasing, purifying, cleansing, and then nourish. They know that you're nourish, self-growth, self-focus, soul-finding. I'm going to start with some of these, but I might bring that other deck around. I just feel like I'm done pretending. They see you as somebody who's maybe just not wearing a mask anymore, like fully mask off. They feel how they feel about you. I'm done pretending. And then you worry so much. I still think about you. They maybe think that you think they forgot about you. I wish I could hold you tonight. Why are you so damn beautiful? I don't know. Your laugh is amazing. I was saying, I don't think you guys are fully in separation. Either this person, like, they know that you guys have distance, and they know that you're kind of worried about that, or you're worried about whether this person still feels the depth of your guys' connection, which is kind of what I was saying in part 1. I feel like they do, but I also feel like you guys both kind of let this stay like dormant to this extent, because you both know that right now you're just like you're not aligned. But I kind of feel like you might be in communication. Like, this doesn't seem like this is something where this is like a no contact type of situation. I also feel like I still think about you. Why are you so damn beautiful? Your laugh is amazing. It's reminding me of like videos or pictures, or it could be like voice notes like this person could have saved of you. Or 1, they think you look absolutely beautiful, and 2, you could be like laughing or giggling, or there's something cute here. But I've never met someone like you. You're one and only. I want to be strong like you. This person knows what you went through. There's a lot of stuff here that's acknowledging that you were 10 toes down in trying to get your shit together. And this person saw that, and they do see that. I think that they definitely got perspective here, but yeah, karma. They maybe also thought that you were in the middle of some karma. Like they may have thought you deserved a little bit of, you fill me up with happiness. You fill me up always makes me feel. I'm not gonna say what I want to say. I knew it all along. I think that's standby. Yeah, standby card. I'm thinking of like a gas tank or somebody at a gas station. Which is reminding me of that reading that I posted back in like March, where I was saying like you were on a metaphorical road trip with this person, your journey, right? Your connection with them. And you left this person at the gas station. You left him at a bus stop. Like you just got on with your journey. You were like, I got places to be. I got things to do. I got to fix my life. That's what this is reminding me of. Because it's like you fill me up, like you filled up your gas tank and then you just, bye. Like they turn around, you were just gone. And that's kind of confirmation of what I was saying about, they may have thought this was kind of hot. I'm looking at this attraction hot and then feminine. They could really like they maybe like your independence, but they maybe also know you have a side of you that is like, that does feel like you have to stay strong, because the idea of this, like, of this being something where you never get to feel this version of this person again, I think that gets to you. I think they know this. I kind of feel like this person knows your soul. The standby card is like, they maybe also, they could think that you are waiting for them to communicate with you, because I'm seeing standby is like standby. Like yesterday, like the eagle has landed, but I don't think the eagle has landed here. You guys, I wish I could hold you tonight again. Like that could be like lyrics to a song. Can we just talk it over? That Can We Just Talk song by Khalid is, I really hate that song. Sorry. Whenever I see that card, I think of that song. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know if they still feel as like, I depend on you too much to let you go. And then it says I have codependency issues, which I'm kind of seeing it as like confirmation of, hold on, how this person's hearing you. I am keeping secrets from you, and I hope you don't find out. That's a confirmation of this entire reading. I think it view at night when my world is asleep and my mind is awake. I have lost all control of my life. I keep messing up. Yeah, this is... I think this person saw your transformation, but I think they know that you've been working on yourself. Especially if they saw you as somebody who depended on them, like emotionally, like I was saying in all those last parts. Something about like a year ago, like this person thought, and it could have just been that part of them was projecting this onto you, and now they're seeing this with this other person actually happen, and they're like, no, you actually aren't, you weren't like that, you just wanted connection with this person. But I do think at one point you probably did struggle with codependency, and you had a really hard time actually getting to this level of detachment, right? Like we've been talking about this whole time. I don't think this person knows that you are at this level of detachment. They maybe haven't seen that, or maybe you still communicate with them relatively the same as like you used to. I cannot, because like I was saying, it's been pretty, you guys don't go super deep, or you don't have super intimate communications like on an emotional level. And so this person hasn't had maybe an opportunity to see that change in you. I cannot support your actions. It's too much for me to deal with. This is confirmation, I think, of how this person did see you. I cannot support your actions. There was nothing here that I was seeing that you like regret. I want confirmation about that I have lost all control. I think this person knows that when you were feeling like at complete loss of like control of your situation or their situation or your life back in the day, I don't think this is right now, but they maybe were forgiving with you. But I feel like this is long enough ago to where you don't, either you don't know this, you don't know that this person maybe still has resentment about how you treated them or how you acted in the past. I don't think this person ever talked to you about this if this is the case. I smile on the outside, but I'm dying on the inside. You may have told them. I think they think, which is maybe based on something that you said to them when you guys were having conflict or disharmony, they maybe think that you see this as like, I cannot support your actions. It's too much for me to deal with. Like, you're like, I can't get with this version of you. You could have literally told them something like this. And then you may have told them like, when you told them this, I feel like this person's like, there is something about you. You could have brought up this person's mask, right? Like you could have let them know. But I feel like this is during that time where you guys were having a hard time. Like this, can we just talk it over? I see you in myself. Some of these are kind of silly. I see you in myself. If I was saying, if I was asking what this person feels about you or how they view you, and they said, I see myself in you, I would have said this person they maybe have some like naughty stuff on their phone. I think with this being on top of I want to be strong like you, this person, this person knows that you guys are a lot alike. But I think that they couldn't relate with a certain version of you for a while. Now, it doesn't look like this person's like big delulu in love right now, but if anything, this person is probably it's kind of King of Swords energy. Like this person, yeah, I still think about you. Your laugh is amazing. Why are you so damn beautiful? And then I'm done pretending. This person maybe wants to be masked off, but it's also like if this person's mask comes off, they might be they could just be like a stoic person, but this person feels a lot. This also just seems like somebody who doesn't let their emotions like rule them. And I think that might also be something that like, because they don't do that, they maybe like they understand the people in their life who do have a lot of emotion. They maybe want to, like I was saying in part 1 or 2, they could be someone who like they know that when someone's going through a hard time, they show up for them or they want to like cater to them emotionally. But in this situation with you, I feel like you were one of the only connections that they had with someone romantically where they didn't feel like they had to do that, or they just didn't. And that kind of is how like twin flame connections work. Like once you guys are triggered, it's like this person, they show up to people in their life the way that you were trying to show up in their life. And then it's the other way around. Like the people, like you might be more avoidant with people emotionally in your life outside of this connection, like your family, or you may notice that you're like I'm thinking of somebody who has a hard time messaging people back, or like has like you just are avoidant of things, or you were avoidant of things in your life outside of this situation. But when it was this situation, you were maybe the one who was you were clingy, or you maybe were the chaser, right? And this person, they're a chaser with the people outside of their life. They're a people pleaser outside of this connection with you, but they were the one that was avoidant with you. And that's kind of how it works. I forget where I was going with that, but I think you didn't see this person being a people pleaser to you. You didn't see them like wanting to go out of their way to like console you and to be there for you emotionally. I think that you saw them thinking that you were too much emotionally, which is, I want to say you might have been one of the first people in their life that like they were off put by this, because I think it wasn't until very recently that this person is seeing through some things, or how they assume that the like women in their life, how they act, or how they used to look at that. I think they're seeing it differently now, and I think they're viewing you differently now. But I want to see it there. I know a lot more than you think. And then silent. I think they think that you know more about their situation than you actually do. And we have green eyes. A person they're connected with could have green eyes. They maybe, why didn't you tell me? They may think that you are, they may think that you're just kind of being hush and that you actually know a lot more. You did a lot more digging on them and their situation than you actually did. Ready or not? Why didn't you tell me? Not a chance. I think this person, I think you turned this person down, or you just saw this person's mask. Please keep this a secret. And then LOL. This is a weird vibe. I think this person was more heavily connected with with this other person than you even knew. I think you knew that they had something going on. But for them to be wrapped up in this mess, they also could have thought that your situation with them matched that. They could have thought you were doing the same thing and that you were more connected with someone else. They were maybe projecting this onto you. They could have thought that you were guilt tripped. They could have guilt tripped you too, because they could have thought that you were trying to keep them a secret and that you wanted them to stay silent. I know a lot more than you think. This person also could have had like a little bit of like I was saying, they were distant, but they could have had a vibe towards you that was like almost like they were upset with you at something. I think I said this in another part, but why didn't you tell me? I think they never told you that they had this view, or they assumed something about you while you guys were having this conflict phase, that you were not you were not, they didn't see you in a good light. Ready or not a chance. LOL. Please keep this a secret. This person could have asked you, I think you were really like turned off by a certain phase of this person. Also, this is weird. This is giving like, I can't stop looking at this green eyes card. This looks like messages, like flirtatious messages. I'm too old for you. I promise I don't do that with others. This looks like somebody's baby daddy. I'm not single. I'm done. You're the one that got away. This person their person that they're with could have found some shit about like your guys' messages, or they could have that may also be why this person feels like they have to kind of control their situation so heavily as to not let it affect you with this other person, because they may know that their person that they're with, I think they try to stay silent with, I know a lot more than you think. Why didn't you tell me? It's silent. I think that damn, this is the tea. Now we're getting into it. I think they think that you are just being silent, especially because we got that bluffing card. They maybe think that you know more than you do, but you're not letting on. So they're staying completely silent about whatever this situation is with this other person, because they don't know. This is a little swiper, no swiping. This is like, yeah, and then feminine. Sorrow, loss, grief, depression. Fertility, parenthood, pregnancy, family, thoughts, and isolating. And then watching, inspecting, like spying. I think this is an iPad. This person could have some stuff on their iPad that they're like, oh gosh. They could feel like they don't know if you know. They don't know what you know, and they think you know more than you do, which means this person does not trust you, and they don't trust the person that they're with, or they think that the person that they're with has something on them or enough beef on them to where they feel like they have to stay silent with you, otherwise they don't want this other person to come to you and tell you all this stuff, or to reach, maybe that they've told them that they were going to reach out to you. I am too old for you. I'm seeing you as like, I'm too fucking old for this. Like, this is all some high school drama. I promise I don't do that with others. Our inside jokes. I don't want you to see me like this, hookers and below. Yeah, I don't think, I think you saw this person. I'm so proud of you. Out of commish. This person's got some secrets, whether it's with you. I think this person not only found out stuff about your connection with them, I think they also found out what this person was doing in other situations. And I think this person feels like they like owe it to this other person. I also think this other person they hold that against them, or they, like at the beginning, said some weird shit about pregnancy, or I don't know if we should look into like an outlook on what might be coming forward in this situation. Yeah, there's that King of Swords. Which is interesting that I was seeing a King of Swords, because that's the king of clarity, communication, logic, and truth. I think this is a King of Swords who is very strategic, and they're very much like, they know how to protect themselves with their words, or they know how to, I'm seeing it as like they blocked you off from knowing their truth or seeing them entirely. I think you got a certain version of this person. I think you, like I was saying, you were like, you might have pushed this away, or you might have told this person straight up, like, yeah, you might have some memories about that. The Three of Cups. That's involvement. They were trying not to show you their involvement with other people, or this person that they're with. They also maybe were trying to protect you from the third party. That's basically what this is. This King of Swords trying to protect you from... They're also now trying to protect themselves from this third party, but this third party maybe doesn't know that they're and I was seeing that like stoic, like this person might just be only communicating with them when they have to, and not more than that. The Moon. There are some secrets, there's some stuff that's concealed here that you don't know about. And then Page of Cups, there's something about like some weird thing about a pregnancy that isn't exactly what it seemed. And the Queen of Cups, and then the Knight of Wands. The Ace of Wands in reverse, and the Page of Wands. I think this person lost like a little bit of their, I think they lost some of their fire for this other person when this happened. And the King of Cups. Yeah. So, the Fool in reverse. I'm seeing that as like, you know, when somebody slips on a banana. This person, they feel like they slipped up with some stuff here. With their third party, but the King of Pentacles, they don't know if they slipped up with you in that regard, because they don't know how much you know. And they know you're not an idiot. Nine of Cups and the King of Pentacles. I'm gonna say that's how they see you right now. Comfortable. And satisfied, maybe, with where your life's at right now. Because I was saying you're like coming into union with yourself. Yeah, you're I think this person knows that some shit that they did with you, like this other person, they know it doesn't work with you. They know that you're not that. And I think this person knows that like if they were to try and operate in a certain way, damn, they feel like they disappointed themselves, because they feel like they didn't work on this, or they understand now why the situation didn't work in terms of how they showed up to it. Because now they're seeing you as a king. They're seeing you as established. They're seeing you as like you've gotten your phase of feeling like you were slipping and falling over, like, or there's something they didn't want to risk emotionally. This is like the tea. There's a lot of like, now we're actually lovers. I think part of this is that this person may never actually fool you. Like, they may never fully tell you, Judgment, some of this stuff that's going on with this person in their life. And I think eventually if this person just is out of their life, they may not, because if they do decide they want to work on their relationship with you and like get back to a place of satisfaction in this, I think they're just going to have to like, you know, reconcile with themselves all the reasons why, and like the, you know, how they feel about the misunderstandings and not seeing you correctly, and the choices that they made based on how they were seeing this. And I think that they feel like they can't really correct that, but at the same time, they're still involved in a lot of that. And so you're giving this energy of King of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, like you're out doing kind of your own thing. I feel like the reason why we don't have all this like lovey stuff is because this person is so wrapped up in this stuff. And I think their first thought when it comes to you right now is still very much this vibe of like, one, they don't want you to know what's up, and they probably will not tell you what's up. And two, they don't think all this lovey stuff because they're not blinding themselves with their emotion whatsoever. This person is like in control. They don't want to be an idiot when it comes to their emotion because they've got too much stuff here that's too fragile that they have to kind of uphold or protect, or like whatever they're dealing with here. That is such like a careful situation, or they have so much that they have to control or to see logically with what's going on with that they don't allow themselves right now to kind of give into all the feely and lovey stuff. And I think you also can feel that. I don't think you're feeling all this like overwhelming love energy that's coming from this person like intuitively. That's also why I think it's like you might feel like you would never see this version of this person again. I do think that this person's compartmentalizing right now, and I also feel like they know that their actions here, they just kind of have, like, if they're gonna move forward, this is the type of person who it's like they're gonna do that when they do that, and when they do, it'll be a different situation most likely. But yeah, the Empress, also they may know that you're their divine feminine. Like I was saying, they could have thought that they had this connection with someone else, and I think that that's part of the reason why they feel maybe some sorrow or some grief about the fact that they didn't put this work in. They also could have thought, there's three kings here, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles. They could have thought that you were heavily involved with someone else, or that you were dating and that you were out exploring. They maybe thought that you were not being real with them about this. This could have been a conversation you guys had. The Empress and the Judgment. There is something here about this person still actively involved like with this situation that you may end up hearing about. It could be like through a friend or through someone around them, that the Empress and Judgment, this is pregnancy, right? Like I was talking about. You may be finding out about this shit that they're dealing with. I don't even think it really is this, though. I don't think this person's actually pregnant. If that's the case, then this person's trying really hard to conceal this from you. And they maybe tried to conceal this and to keep this on the low with everyone else in their life. The Two of Cups. The Seven of Swords in reverse. This person, I do think that you are at least going to get some kind of answer here about this person and how they truly feel about you. I think that is coming. I think that they can't really avoid that when it comes to Judgment and Seven of Swords in reverse. I'm saying it like they're not going to be able to hide that forever. They can't really avoid that, especially because you're showing up as an Empress. You're their divine feminine. It is what it is. You'll know. But I think that they're coming to they're maybe at this place where they're realizing the person that they were involved with, this pregnancy situation, they can't get away with whatever this is anymore. And I think that this person, it's like they're going to have to make some decisions here about this situation. And yeah, decisions here emotionally. I think that's when they're probably going to come to you. But until then, they're maybe not moving forward. They're not coming through with any of this. They're going to conceal this. There's some secrets here. So, and the Page of Cups. I do think you'll hear from this person though. The Hanged Man. This situation, there's divine intervention that needs to happen here. The Hermit. I think they feel like they have so much to control here, because I think that this person knows that this other person is watching your shit, or they see you, or they know about you, or they found some stuff here. Spying, again. Social network information ways. We also have compology. Apology, forgiveness, return, sorry. I think that's basically saying for this person, they felt like they had to go and apologize and make it up to this other person because this other person found out about you. Present, abundant gratitude, cycles, change, completion. So presently they're working on finishing some kind of cycle with someone else, nurture and then compassion, before they can come in. I think they're keeping themselves over here because until they feel like they can actually come through, and then bluffing in a way that's not going to mask, especially with that card we got earlier that says, I'm done pretending. Unless they can do that, I don't think this person wants to show up. Thinking, missing you, craving, desire. This person is missing you. Pain. They do feel pain about the situation. Apprehensive, afraid, cautious, but they're cautious because it's spying. I think they know that this other person watches you or looks in on you. And so they're there was pursuit. It's a hot pursuit. Like they're in trouble. They're in pursuit, toxicity, chasing. So yeah, there's a reason you're not involved.